Hey there folks, I just wanted to review the largest board game built by mankind. I don't know if that's true, but this is absolutely incredibly big. This box is so big. I don't know if it's showing justice. I don't know if you guys understand the size of this thing. Let's grab something. Okay, here we go. Here is a classic pencil. Here's a classic pencil, and here's the box. This is a very, 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 very large box. So every time I see this, I kind of just laugh because it's so incredibly big, super fun, all that kind of stuff. But let's dive into the review. So this is Mage Knight, the Ultimate Edition. What that means is it's going to be Mage Knight. It's going to come with the 3 expansions and these 5 new cards, which is kind of fun. But Mage Knight there's so much in here. I don't even know exactly where to begin. It's a hand management game, somewhat deck building. I don't necessarily feel like it's a deck building game because Dominion, you're getting cards all the time. All the time. You're getting rid of cards all the time. This game, you start with your hand and you are shuffling up your hand. You're drawing 5 cards. But you're only adding to that, the entire game, you might add 5, 6, 10 cards would probably be a lot of cards to add. I don't know. And so you're not adding that many cards to your hand. You're gonna, the cards you start with, you're going to keep those and you're gonna use those a lot. You're gonna know those cards. So that is, that's something that I think is really interesting about the game. But basically in this game, sorry, we're 2 minutes in, I haven't really told you what it is. In Mage Knight, what you're doing is you are one of these characters, Mage Knight, I think, I don't know. You're one of these characters, you're a hero, and you're trying to, basically in the solo game, the most common game, this is most commonly played solo, you are trying to defeat 2 cities, 2 castles, and so 2 cities. And so you go to these 2 cities, and you have to explore a bunch of the board before, a bunch of these tiles that as you get to the end of one, you can explore the next one, flip it over, and there's all these different tiles of enemies and things that you can explore. But as you go throughout and explore, on the very bottom, there's going to be 4 tiles that are a different color. They've got some more difficult bosses on it and things like that, enemies to defeat, and 2 of them are going to have these cities on them, and you need to defeat both of those, one level 5, one level 8, for the classic solo game. Once you do that, you win the game. But it's really difficult. It's honestly very, very difficult. It just seems like there's a lot of decisions to be made. You really need your cards to kind of come out at the right time. You need to upgrade the right cards, all this. There's a lot involved in it. It's really, really enjoyable. I've really enjoyed this game as a solo game. I've only played it twice, but I have really enjoyed it both times. It's quite the experience. It's definitely a commitment of a game, both 1 because it's expensive and 2 because it just takes a long time, 3 because it takes a lot of space. And so if you have a Saturday, you're like, man, I'm home all Saturday, pull the game out, play it. That's a perfect scenario. If you're like, hey, I've got a little bit of time, I want to pull this game out on the plane and play it, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. You're going to need probably an entire section. You're going to need all of first class to be able to play this game. All that space. Not going to work. So, what do I think of this game? I really enjoy it. I love it as a solo game. I really do. If you look at the back here, this might show you a little bit more of what you are looking at. And so right here, you've got this board down here that is tracking your fame. I think that's the fame. Maybe this one's the fame track, and this one is overall your level, basically. And so as you go to the next row, you get all these upgrades. So that's pretty cool. Some of them you get this new token that you get to use for different characters that you're recruiting throughout the game. And so those guys help you, and you get to use them once per round, which is super neat and really helps the game out a lot. It's basically a pretty powerful card that you have out in front of you all the time. You can choose to use it once per round anytime, which is really, really helpful. And then the other ones give you like these 2 tiles that you get to flip over. You've got a stack of tiles for each character. You flip 2 over and you get to choose one of those, and you get to choose a card to upgrade, which they're all good cards as well. So I really like that. But here's the map. You're just building out more and more and discovering all these different things. And it's really fun. It's really fun. It's very heavy on the attack portion of things. And so you're going to be flipping over tiles and you're going to be attacking. You're going to be looking at your cards, and turns are going to take a long time. You're going to be sitting there forever thinking, can I do this? Can I do that? All this different stuff. There's top powers that you can use. There's bottom powers that are more powerful, but you have to use a crystal to be able to do that. There's just a lot. There's an awful lot. So I'm trying to keep it somewhat feasibly short to explain. That's another commitment too, is just the length of time that it will take to understand and wrap your mind around this game. There's one guy that has 3 30-minute videos that I think I probably watched twice. So I spent like 3 hours watching videos to learn how to play this game, and still was like going back and looking at the rules pretty consistently in my first couple of games. And so there's gonna be some of that, and so if you don't want to do that, if you don't have the commitment to get into it, then don't do it. If you like lighter games, if you don't like heavier games, don't do it. But if you are up for the challenge of getting yourself into that, and then this really is, like, people have said this is the best solo game ever, and I would say that I can see where they're coming from. I don't know if I completely agree. There's things I enjoy more, but that's just because of the gamer I am. This is an incredible experience. I'm glad I have it. It's a great solo experience, and so I do really like this game. It is really nice. One other thing to note, this is a positive and a negative. There's so much content in this box, and even like with the base game without the expansions, there's so many cards. And there's 2 stacks of really large cards that I did not touch at all on my second game. And so there's a stack of like these, I don't know, just like maybe relic cards or what they're called or something like that. But you get them if you do special little things, go to special little locations. And I just didn't on my second game. And so there's a really big stack of cards that I didn't touch a single one. I think my first game I got one of them. So I played 2 games, and there's a huge stack of cards. Not huge, there's a big stack of cards that I've seen one of them. So that's something that you may really like. And there's a stack of like these characters that I was telling you about. There's some silver ones, and then there's some gold ones. And the gold ones, I saw 1 in my first game, and I saw none the second game. And so that's something where it's like, I would love to see more of them. So I personally would love for them to be less common, but still be able to see them, still be able to get them. And maybe it's just the locations. I need to go to different locations and that kind of thing. And I will definitely do that in the future just to see what more of those cards are and stuff. Because one time I had it was like, this is a really powerful card, which is super cool. I really enjoy that. And so that's the other thing that I like about it is I've played 2 games, and each one was like 3-ish. My first one was longer than that, but probably 3 hours for my second one, maybe a little bit longer even. It's a long game, and they're, you know, going through those same cards and stuff. I really enjoy that discovery aspect. So that's something that you might really like about it too, is if you just want the ability to replay a game and just find more and more and discover more and more about it, see more and more cards, that kind of thing. You might really enjoy that. I wish that it was a little bit easier to see some of those cards and recruit different things, that kind of thing. But it works really well for the game that it is. So the replay value in this game is another thing that I think bodes for it really well. You can replay this 100 times and still have cards that you haven't seen, and I think that's pretty wild. And the gameplay and everything, there's a lot that's going to be the same, but it's going to be kind of different each time too, which I think is really nice, really fun. So overall, that's Mage Knight. Hopefully that gives you some way to march forward and be like, yeah, he said something I like about this, or he said something that makes me not want to play this game. That's my goal, is to help give you just a little touch and a taste of what this game is, what it does, and why it may or may not be right for you. Thanks.